As a quick follow-up to yesterday's Civic update, I want to ask Christians specifically a question. And I think it's an important question as we process the assassination of Charlie Kirk and all the other things that are going on around it. And the question is, as a Christian, what dictates your response to tragedy? Is your response to tragedy dictated by how bad the situation is, by how bad you think your opponents are, by how you think your opponents would respond if the shoe was on the other foot? Or is your response and your attitude dictated by your faith and your values? That's an important question to ask. And the reason that I ask it is because I see a lot of people saying, well, Charlie Kirk wouldn't have had empathy. Charlie Kirk wouldn't have cared. He would have said this. He would have said that. Therefore, I don't care. And let's assume, we don't know exactly what would happen there, but let's assume that's true for the sake of argument. What does that have to do with your response and how you're recalled to respond as a Christian? What's very clear to me in this whole debate and this back and forth is that you have some Christians who've clearly been discipled in their social action by Christian nationalism. Therefore, they can't see any negativity when it comes to racial issues. They can't look at the history of the country and be honest about what that means about where we are. They just can't do it. And then there's also a segment of Christians who have clearly been discipled by secular activism. And secular activism isn't always bad. There's times when we can find common cause. But what you need to understand is secular activism has a very different ethic and foundation than Christian advocacy does. Christian advocacy has to always be about redemption. It doesn't run away from how bad things are. It acknowledges how bad opponents can be. But it always has to see humanity. It always has to have compassion and empathize in situations like this. It has to say doing things the wrong way is always wrong, even if you think your cause is good. Secular activism, on the other hand, with its ethic, allows you to dismiss people, allows you to not have compassion in certain situations, allows you to respond in kind based on how your opponents responded. Those are two different ways of addressing things. And we need to ask which one has discipled us and what should dictate our response. I believe truly that a Christian's response should be dictated by our faith and our values. That allows us to be tenacious in fighting injustice and moral disorder, while at the same time having a level of compassion and grace for other people, even when there's disagreements.